You'll be enchanted as soon as you set foot on Seville's charming cobblestone lanes and stroll along its palm-lined promenades. The views are just as breathtaking as the well-known flamenco performances and colorful festivals, and the enchanting atmosphere is created by elegant buildings, vintage street lamps, and horse-drawn carriages. With a magnificent tower that was once the minaret of a large mosque, the city is home to the largest Gothic church in all of Christendom. Seville, located in the Andalusia region of southern Spain, is a treasure trove of cultural attractions waiting for you. One of Seville's most charming neighborhoods is the Barrio de Santa Cruz, which is situated between the real Alcazar and the Cathedral of Seville. This enchanting medieval neighborhood exudes an old-world charm and is distinguished by its winding cobblestone pedestrian lanes that are too narrow for cars, whitewashed houses featuring charming patios, and charming plazas with outdoor cafes. The main church of Seville is impressive in its size and majesty, the largest Gothic cathedral in the world. It was built between 1434 and 1517 on the remains of what had previously been the most important mosque in the city. Highlights include the Giralda, the powerful bell tower, which incorporates the original minaret of the mosque, the monumental tomb of Christopher Columbus, and the main chapel with an amazing gold altarpiece. The history of the cathedral dates back to the 15th century, but the history of Christian worship at the site dates back to the mid-13th century. It is one of the largest churches in the world and a true treasure of art, with notable works by Zurbarán, Murillo, Goya, and others. The Caliph of Cordoba had this UNESCO World Heritage Site constructed as a fortress in the 10th century. The Alcazar served as the residence of the fabled Moorish king and poet Al-Mutamid in the 11th century. The location was enlarged and the group of buildings was added to by later Moorish rulers. Pedro I had the palace refurbished in the 14th century in the Mudéjar style, which is a fusion of Gothic and Arabic elements. Following the Christian reconquest, the palace's intricate decorations, which include patterned walls and ceilings and vibrant tile floors known as azulejos, showcase the imaginative new architectural style. Visitors are invited to enter the real Alcazar and expect an amazing interior design and a fascinating history. Seville has one of the three largest historical centers in Europe. Called the Old Town, it is delimited by the walls that surrounded Seville in ancient times. Specifically, these walls of Seville were built by order of Julius Caesar in Roman times and expanded by Caesar Augustus as the city grew. The walls of Seville are considered one of the most impressive defenses in Europe, almost 7 kilometers long, with 166 minor towers and 13 gates. This famous tower was originally a part of the city's defensive walls. Situated on the Guadalquivir River's left bank, the 36-meter-tall monument was intended to serve as a watchtower to ward off intruders. The tower was once covered in tiles with a golden hue, which accounts for its name, Tower of Gold. Housed in the stately Convento de la Merced Avenue, dating back to the 17th century, Seville is home to an outstanding museum of fine arts. After the Prado in Madrid, this museum is thought to have the best collection of paintings in all of Spain. Artworks from the Gothic era through the 20th century are included in the collection. Particularly notable is the inclusion of pieces by Spanish painters from the 17th century. Masterworks by well-known Spanish artists such as Alonso Cano, Diego Velázquez, Francisco Pacheco, and El Greco will be on display for visitors. Masterpieces by Bartolomé Esteban Murillo and pieces from the 17th century Seville School are the museum's specialties. The Alameda de Hercules is a space inside the historic center that has transformed itself and integrated into the city, becoming a peculiar and attractive urban space where leisure, culture, and art meet. It is considered the oldest public garden in Europe, and after its drying up by the Count of Paraches, it was adorned at one end with 2 columns taken from a Roman temple dedicated to Hercules. Centuries later, the other end was also decorated with 2 other columns, each topped with a lion and a shield, representing Spain on one and Seville on the other. The Metropol Parasol, known locally as Las Sedes, is one of the most emblematic modern monuments in Seville. Built in 2011, the colossal parasol is a hypnotic sight with its undulating honeycomb facade and massive supporting trunks. Elevators extend from the basement to the top, where you can enjoy killer views from a winding walkway. Glorious oasis of green, the 34-hectare Maria Luisa Park is the perfect place to escape the noise and heat of the city, with duck ponds, gardens and paths shaded by tall trees. The land, previously the San Telmo Palace estate, was donated to the city at the end of the 19th century and was developed in the period prior to the 1929 Ibero-American Exposition. In the south of the park, the Archaeological Museum has some wonderful Roman sculptures, mosaics and statues, many of which were gathered at the archaeological site of Italica, just outside Seville. Plaza de España, located inside the Maria Luisa Park, astonishes guests with its size and magnificence. A neo-Moorish building with balustraded balconies encircles the massive 50,000 square meter plaza. The building curves around the shape of the canal that runs through the square. There is a large fountain in the middle of the square, and there are 4 footbridges that span the serene canal. For an afternoon, visitors can rent a rowboat to explore the Venice of Seville or choose to take an equally romantic horse-drawn carriage ride around the park. Oftentimes, the Plaza de España hosts outdoor musical events and exhibitions. It's a magical sight to see the historic building lit up at night behind the stage. This Seville neighborhood feels like a world apart, located across the river from Seville's main tourist attractions. The barrio de Triana is a labyrinth of tiny cobblestone streets and alleyways that lead to evocative squares, much like the barrio de Santa Cruz. It is unique because of its history as a traditional potter's quarter and its gypsy community. The residents of this neighborhood have been making authentic Andalusian ceramics for centuries using clay from the banks of the Guadalquivir River. In addition to being one of the most populous cities in Spain, Seville is also a city that is rich in history and art. In recent years, the city's popularity has increased significantly, and it has also evolved into a more contemporary destination that is cherished by its visitors. From the soulful cries of singers to the dazzling footwork of dancers, Seville's spirit is truly unforgettable.